Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to day 2 of the GSE virtual event. Today, we're going to be listening to Bill Pereira talking about Ansible in a 101 situation around let's launch it with ZXplore or ZXplore. If people don't know, I'm sure that Bill will explain what ZXplore is. And it's definitely worth exploring. I've done a few bits on it before, and this Ansible module was really interesting. So Bill, take it away. Thank you. Oh, sorry, for the participants who've got questions, pop them in the chat, and Bill will try and answer them during the presentation. Okay, so any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll be moderating it, and we'll catch it then. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's Bill, and well, just before we get into the presentation, let me present myself before. I'm working with mainframe for the last 13 years, and in the last years, I was focusing more on automation, so things that I could explore from outside together with the mainframe, with the sysprog work I used to do. And one of the things that I found in the last years was Ansible. So in the beginning, it was a bit complicated for me to learn to have an environment, to set up the environment. But once I found that, I saw how useful and quick to learn it was. I decided then to create this to help you. So basically, this session will be an introduction session to Ansible. So you will see really the basics and how you can get started with Ansible. So let's move here to the presentation. So before we get started, it's important to understand what is the concept of infrastructure as a code. So basically, a lot of the work we used to do on the support is we are working with very important systems that cannot go down in any time of the day. So most of the work needs to be done on weekends, needs to be out of the business hours. So sometimes you have a lot of work to do that can be complicated. Sometimes it's simple, but you may become tired. You may have some mistakes. So the idea of infrastructure as a code is that we are going to put the actions we have together. So it could be in configuration files. It could be in scripts. We can control these changes with a version control system. And then these actions will be executed automatically. So you have this work during your normal hours. You can focus on that with more attention. And then you just start the button during the evening, for example, and that will happen without error, automated, reducing the chances of errors with consistency across our environments. There are some differences on the way we do infrastructure as a code. So there is a declarative way where you specify what is the desired status. So you say, okay, these specific parameter needs to be like this. This is what is expected. And the tool that you are using will check if it's that in the right way. You don't need to worry about that. It's okay. And if not, it will take the necessary actions to achieve the desired state. And there is also the imperative way, where you were telling what are the actions that needs to be done and how to do that. So you specify exactly the actions to be executed. The tool that I'm taking for that, even in my daily hours, my work, is the Ansible. And this is the tool that we are going to see here. And basically, Ansible has some components that allow us to do this work. We have all this set of instructions of the set of desired states of our components on what we call as the playbook. So this will have the list of tasks that needs to be checked, executed. Sometimes you can have the configuration of your environment, all the servers, all the LPARs, or the devices that you need to check on one CMDB. So Ansible can take this information from the CMDB, and the Ansible engine will look into the plugins, into the inventory to find the way it has to connect to your system. In our case here to the LPAR, it will be using an SSH connection, so a secure shell connection to our environment. And these modules, these plugins, they will allow us to do the work we do with the minimal changes, with the minimal source. For example, let's think if you have a data set, a file that needs to exist on your environment. Okay, so you have a module for that, and you're gonna specify for this data set, this file needs to exist. This needs to be present there on my LPAR. So Ansible will go into each of the LPARs of your inventory, of your playbook, and we'll check it exists here. Does it doesn't? So if it doesn't exist, it will create with the params you have just specified. If it already exists, it will do anything and will just give you the feedback that things are right there. There is also a possibility with Ansible to call APIs outside. So for example, okay, I don't have an SSH connection, I can also use API, so HTTPS for this communication. On the ZOS, we have the possibility to work with the ZOSMF APIs, for example. You can call the APIs from other products that you have on your environment. Also, there are some cases where you can call Ansible through APIs if you have, for example, the Ansible automation platform. So there are some different ways, a lot of flexibility when we are working with Ansible. When we started, it's kind of new, Ansible on the mainframe environment. I think we are on the third year, but it's widely used in other platforms. So if you started doing something with Ansible, you're going to see that it's really easy to find some content, some tips. You're going to find a lot of information on Stack Overflow and other forums about Ansible. So it helps a lot on the learning curve also. For this, we're gonna have 3 tools. So this is something that you don't need to worry here on the session. You can follow later. So all of this, it's public. So the first one, the GitHub, is where all the content of the session is stored also. So you can follow these instructions here, and also this information that I have just shared. So for example, if you want to remember what are the components of Zoe, if you want to know what are the kinds of infrastructure as a code you have. So all this description I have added to the GitHub to this link. So you can follow that later. This is the link from the IBM ZXplore. And here, if you don't have your own environment, here is where you can get user ID and password and an access to a real LPAR. So you can do practice, you can do this training. And also, they also have a series of challenges that will help you learn also about the Z. So if you are new to Z also, so here is the place where you can get started. You can learn more about the mainframe world. And the last one, the Gitpod.io, this is how I found for you to, it's something that's available also for other things. So this is what we call the code space. So here is where you're gonna be able to try this training without having to install anything on your machine. So you don't need to worry about if you don't have access to install something on your laptop, you don't know. So this will provide you the environment with everything you need to get started with Ansible and the ZXplore. So how these things relate themselves? So when you start on the Gitpod.io, you're gonna have to provide from where you were taking your code. And here you're gonna inform that you wanna take this from the GitHub. So the link that is here is what you're gonna need to provide. I will demonstrate in a moment how to do that. When you do that, the Gitpod.io will launch for you a workspace, a code space. So it will be an editor of VS Code on your browser, and you will have all the starting assets for you to get started with Ansible. There is a script there that will install everything for you that you need, so you don't need to worry about, okay, what is the commands for installing Ansible? What are the commands to install the collections that we need? So it will do all the work for you. You just need to focus on learning about Ansible. And also on this code space, you will be able to have, since you have Ansible, you're going to have everything there that you need. All the engine will be installed on this code space. And the connection through your environment, through the ZXplore, will be through an SSH connection. If I'm going too fast, just stop me and just make some questions. This is also on the instructions. So after you have your environment, you will be able, I have prepared some questions, some challenge, some exercise that you can do to learn about Ansible and how to use that. And there are some ways to use that. One of them, if you are just looking for a simple use case, you can just take the Ansible command. So this will be on the terminal. You're gonna see there that just type Ansible to call Ansible. You're gonna call what's the pattern. So what is the target machine where you want to run this? Since I'm not talking about external machines yet, I'm just want to check something on localhost on where I'm running the command. I inform here the localhost. When you are calling the Ansible command, you have to specify, for example, the module that you are calling. In this case, I'm calling the module file, so I want to work with the files and the attributes for this model. And here I'm passing what is the path and what's the state. So I want to have the state desired as a directory, and this is the path test folder. So I see when I press enter, I see this feedback. So something was changed. That's why I see the change here. And this happens because the folder didn't exist. So this is all the feedback it got from the system when the command was executed. So you get what are the informations, what is the path, where is this director, everything. There are also a different way to use that, and this is maybe sometimes just use the other command may not be very useful. You want to have a more specific actions, so you want to have more complex actions to be executed. So for example, on my work, I have some use cases where we handle all the process of certificates or a lot of other process in our environment to use Ansible. And for this, you have multiple ways. And when we want to pass this to create the playbook, we need the YML is a language that we use. It's you can pass every information there. So for you to understand what is YML, I have here this example where we can talk. So basically, YML means YML and markup language. So it's a bit redundant, but that's the meaning. And you have a key and a value when you are passing that. And so, for example, if we take this example here, we have, for example, the key name and Tony being the value for that, or age and 35. So here are some examples. You can pass different values for this key. Can be strings, can be numbers, booleans, and can be also other key pairs. So for example, here we have this GSE member where we have the GSE member is one key, and the value of that is another set of keys. So what we can call as an object or a dictionary. So depending on what you are what languages you are used to. So for example, the GSM member, every time I have a GSM member, I will have these three parameters, these three keys again. So name, start date, and talk, for example. Also, we can have another kind of values for these keys could be a list. And you're gonna see that when we have a list, we start with this dash before the key. So here we have the GSE regions where we have different items. We have this list with the UK, Netherlands, and Nordic. Remember when I was looking to this command, we had here the local host, right? If you have several machines on your on your inventory, on your installation environment, you need to pass for Ansible what are the address, how it will get into this environment. So this is we put all of this on the inventory. So on the inventory, we can map all the machines we have to update, all the devices, all the operating systems, and what are the hosts for them. Sometimes you need to add some variables that will be needed for this environment. So for example, what is the user that I should use to connect with this one? What is the key? If I have groups of servers, I can also use that. So for example, I have a group of servers here that is the web servers or the DB servers. So when I want to execute these actions, I can specify, okay, do all of these tasks on my web servers. So here's an example of the inventory that we are going to use on this. So when you do the beginning of this training on the Git pod, this will be filled out for you, so you don't need to worry. All you're gonna need during the execution of the script is inform your user and password, and this will generate for you this file with all these variables. So this is specifically for the ZXplore. So you don't need to worry. If you want to check on your installation, if you want to run and try this on the Alpar you already work, or do you have access, you can just update that. But basically, for us to understand, I'm also using here on this inventory the YML format. I forgot to say here, but when we are talking about the inventory, we can have two kind of formats. Well, you can use the .ini or .yml. So these are the two standards that are acceptable. Myself, to keep just one, to keep simpler, I prefer to have everything as YML. So here we started with this all. So this is the biggest, the parent group from everything. So when I want to attack all my servers or my systems with these actions, I just use all on the playbook. But you can have them inside of all your hosts, or you can have other parameters like vars. And here we have the ZXplore. So this ZXplore, so when I start inside of the hosts, I will start with the name of the subgroups. So ZXplore is the first one, my host. And I pass some variables here. So what's my user ID? What is my password? What is the host address for that? I will check here what is the address for Python, what is the address from Zoal. So just as information, I'm taking consideration here, you are taking an environment that I already have, but the only requirements if you are not running here with the ZXplore, if you're running on your environment, is to have Python and Z Open Automation Utilities installed. So two other products. This is everything that needs to be inside of your Alpar. And here you can just, if you have something different, you can just come here on this inventory. If you were going to take this as a sample for your environment, just update it here. And everything will kind of follow the same standards. So I have added some variables here. These variables is really related to them. These variables are related to the environment. So what is the Python path, the lib path? So path for you to find documentation and modules. And we are working with different encoding. So It's also needed to inform this auto conversion variables addend, but this is a standard. You don't need to change this addend. Just take it as is and use that on your inventory to work with your environment. Here's an example of a playbook. So here we have all of the most of the items that you're gonna be using on our playbook when we start doing that. So this is following that YML format we just mentioned. I started giving a name for my playbook. So for example, here we are creating a copy of a permanent member. And what are the hosts that we are going to execute? So here is the ZXplore, the same that was here on the inventory. I have this option, getter facts. I disable that because it will save some time on your execution. The getter facts, basically, if you have this as true, when Ansible starts, before doing the execution, it will connect to your environment and will try to gather some automatic effects about your environment. So about some automatic information about the operating systems, specific to your hardware. Some information that's right there for him to collect. There is the environment. The environment is just to bring this environment vars that I'm putting here. So related to the auto conversions, the path for Python, and for my ZOpen automation utilities. Here we are having some variables. There are multiple variables that multiple places on Ansible where you can specify variables for a playbook. So here I'm giving some variables that will be used on this playbook. When you start writing it more and getting more complex states of your project, then you may need to worry more about also of the precedence of the variable. So you can look into the documentation, but there are different levels like other programming languages. Here we have, after the variables, what are the tasks that we should use. So here we have two tasks on the sample. So the tasks, you see, it receives a list. So that's important to understand from YML. I was even kidding this week, talking with my friend, that I'm almost becoming a YML engineer instead of a system programmer. So YML is oriented also with the indentation. So for example, here I can see the tasks. I have the dashes before the name that were inside. So I know that this two group of lines from the 13 to 17 is one group. It's from one item of my list of tasks, and the second starting on 19 to 23. So with the indentation and the dash, I know that this is a list. If I just go back with the indentation, it will present some errors for me. And also when I look inside of the task, you see, I started with the name of this task. I have another line, and then I have another indentation. So these params that are indented again are from the line above. So this line in blue, it is my module. So what is the module that I'm calling with this inside of this task? And I could, for example, you're gonna find on some documentation just the name, the ZOS data set, and the attributes identity. But here you can see I'm putting IBM.IBM ZOS data set. Both way works, but the good practice is that you keep the full qualified name, because sometimes probably we are not going to find another, at least for now, another conflicted name with ZOS things, but sometimes you can have modules with same name different from different collections, and this is what we call the collections. So I forgot to say here, but here line 6, I'm also saying, as it's not a standard, take this these collections, the IBM.IBM ZOS core, because I will have some modules that makes use of that. Okay, looking into that, we have here the attributes of my module.
Bill, can I just I don't know how you're doing for time, but is it worth just covering where people can get the collections, you know, like Ansible Galaxy or you know, that there's quite a lot. This is now available, isn't it, with ZOS?
Yeah. The collections, it's important, good question. It's something that extend the usage, the models that you have. When you install Ansible, and we are going to see this in a moment, you have some collections that are started, there's some models that are installed together, but some are not coming as standards. So we are going to see that we have the Ansible Galaxy, and this is from where how you install these extra collections, and this is from where you install the IBM ZOS core collections. Before we go into that, when we are talking about the attributes, we see here, for example, on the name, we have the target library. That's the name of our variable. We put that between double quotes and the double brackets. So this is how you should do when you are informing a variable. So you need to we use what is called a Jinja format, a Jinja templating. So this is not just specific from Ansible or ZOS, but this is it's very useful on Python also. Okay, let's take a quick look on this environment, how we install how you can get used, how you can get these collections installed. So this is the link that where you can get your environment. It's just for training purposes. It will be free. I mean, till 50 hours in the month, it's free for you to get started. So I'm using the free account also. So you're just gonna click login, and we'll choose to log in with one of the. I use the GitHub account, so I use my GitHub account. So I click login, continue with GitHub. I'm already logged in another window. So when you get there, you're gonna see a page where you can go to your dashboard or create or open a workspace. You're gonna click open workspace. And in your case, you're gonna see, new workspace. And here you're gonna paste your URL. So you're gonna take the URL from my GitHub. You can also fork that for you if you want, and you can just do the changes that you want. So you're gonna paste the URL here. And after that, you're gonna have this workspace created. So when the workspace starts, it's like this. You have a VS Code on your window. So like we can see here, there is a redeem that I mentioned. So with all the things I've been speaking to you, so you can follow this alone to practice, because I know it's it may be a lot of content. I'm talking a lot and quickly, so you can take it from here. So there are some comments. Let's do the begin together here, so we can follow together. Will be simpler for you to follow later. When we have this installed, you can open the redeem. I will open this, and we can follow here. So there's these files. These will help you during your process, and the main one will be this get started.sh. So the first thing you need to do is start. Let me increase the font. With this get started.sh, it will ask for your user ID and password. I'm trying to find mine now because I was with this open a minute ago. Okay. Hope the access is also working now. And the password. I did this so you don't need to worry about everything. So when the process starts, you're gonna see that it install everything, so you don't need to worry about the commands. If you were curious about that, you can take a look on this script, and you're gonna see that it's basically installing Python here on this environment. And then after you have Python installed, it's using the pip to install the Ansible. So And these are the requirements we have. Together with that, on this environment, we have I have added also some extensions for VS Code. So things that you can install on your own, on your local VS Code also if you want. But here they will get installed automatically for you. So what we are going to install, I'm installing an extension. It just appeared here. So ZXplore. So you can use the Zoe. Zoe is another tool, another plugin that you are going to use here to connect to your mainframe and see if the work done is done fine. And also we'll install some extensions, another extension that that I have created for this, with some snippets. So this will facilitate when you get started, when you start writing your playbook, to make the work easier. So it will remember syntax for you, will help. Okay, I want to use this US data set. What are the params? What are the possibilities I have? So if I look here on the extensions, this group of squares, these are the extensions. You can see the extensions that I have added. So this Ansible Z snippets is the one I have created for that. So let's start doing something here, just for us to see how to do that. Let me go to the comments and we can do one of the challenges. So I will start copying this. You can read that more in details, but this is basically what I have just covered on the presentation. So I will open the terminal again. And I will just allow me to paste it on the browser. I will press enter. And you see, I get this information that no inventory was parsed because I'm just passing the local host. I'm not passing information about inventory. And the file that I have just created, this folder, test folder, that was not here. It was created. If I do the same command again, just pressing the button, I see success instead of changes because the file already exists. There was no reason for Ansible to do other thing, and this is the difference between the declarative and imperative way. So I just declare, okay, this needs to exist as a directory. If it's there, okay, don't do anything, it's fine. And you don't have to worry about, okay, how do I check if it exists, how to evaluate the commands, to handle that in a programmatic way. So basically you pass through the YML or the command, what are the param, and Ansible handles that for you. That's the desired state. There are some, after we have this, we should be able also to ping our environment. So if my user ID and password is correct, I will be able to ping. Otherwise, I need to reset the password, but you will be able to follow that later. Yeah. So for example, this is probably what happened. I need to reset my password. But when you have this created, when you get your new user ID and password, you can just update, run the script, and this is the inventory created. You just need to come here and change your user ID, change your password, and you're gonna be good. Let's create one of the challenges, one of the exercise here, just for you to see how that works. So how you can follow that later. So I will start with this ping YML. So this file, you can, if you want to create a new one, just right click, new file, and datasets.yml, for example. So you can continue from this or can create from scratch. With the extensions that were installed on this environment, when you start typing, for example, new play, it will suggest for you what are the styles you can use. So for example, you see I have here the new basic playbook and a new basic playbook with vars. So we are going to use this. So demo for GSE, ZXplore, and you just navigate with the tab. I can create that variable that was. So I will put the library name like it was on the presentation, and I can pass the library name. I don't know. You can use the double quotes if you don't want. You also can use like this. It's okay. And with the tasks, you can just go here and start typing also. So you're going to work with data sets. So you have here, when you start typing data set, it will bring some examples for you. You can just choose which one you want to use. So ZOS data set, allocating a new data set. So the data set name will be our user ID. So what I'm gonna do, I will put here. Let me use something Z99999 dot parmlib dot copy, because we are going to copy this later. When we are working with data sets, there are multiple types that the module allows you to use. So I have added some of them here. So let's create a PDS. Also, for the other parameters, I have added some examples that you can use. So I will take the fixed block, 80, 10, 10. You can change between tracks, cylinders. What are the possibilities here? If you want to replace or not, if the data set exists. So I will put false. If the data set exists, just let it there. I don't want to start from scratch. And the present, absent. If I want to have it catalog or not catalog and uncatalog. So this is specific from ZOS also. So these are some states that you will not find in the distributed world, but we are also covering that, because sometimes the data set can exist and not be listed on your catalog, present on your catalog for free access for everyone, you know. Okay, that's it. And if I want then to copy from my library here to here, I will just start typing here the copy, and I will put here the copy simple. Copying my parmlib member. When you are using the ZOS copy, you have different attributes. So you can copy from a source, from a file or data set, or you can copy from a content. So I will put here the source, and I'll put my data set. So the library, and I just want to copy, for example, clock is 00. And the destination will be my, I used the normal copy, not the ZOS copy. ZOS copy. And here. And see, it's very similar, the modules. So everything that Ansible, that the team is doing here, it's very similar with what we have. And here we just copy it. So when you are doing that, you could be doing this copy to a data set or to a location on your USS. And clock is 00. And that's it. My playbook is created. Let me see if I can quickly refresh my user ID and password. Don't. Oh, my account. Okay. I will need another user and password, but that when you start this from scratch, you're gonna get a fresh user ID, so that won't be an issue. My user ID is not available anymore. So when you start using the ZXplore, if you are accessing that frequently, that's not an issue. Since there is a long time I don't use, my user ID is revoked, so I need to request a new one. I didn't show where you log it in, but the link to get there, it's IBM ZXplore. It was on the presentation also. So when you register here, you're gonna get a new user ID. Well, I think that's it that I wanted to share how you can get started with Ansible. If you follow all the instructions from the reading, you're gonna be able to get everything. So what is everything that I have spoken here? What are the links that you need? I will send also on the chat, so it will be easier for everyone to get into that. So I will copy it here. Do we have any questions? Something that I didn't cover also, if you want to ask. Later today I have another presentation with a friend, and we are going to bring one of the use case. This session here was more to cover really the basics of Ansible, and later on today we have other sessions of Ansible, and I will be presenting in one where we have a pipeline with AWS doing the deploy on ZOS LPAR. So with them, we are going to show a bit about the concepts of DevOps and how you can use Ansible in this use case.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, that was pretty swift. So thank you for that. For anybody that is on the call that is interested, there are some more basic introductions, I think, to installing Ansible. Certainly the things that Bill talked about, Python now comes with ZOS, doesn't it? The Rocket port, I'm pretty sure, is part of the server packs that you get. And there is the AnsibleGalaxy.com is a website where you can download the IBM ZOS collections. So there's the core collection that Bill was using, and also there are operators for Kix and system automation, ZOSMF. So IMS, there's quite a lot. Thank you, Bill. There's quite a lot of stuff on the Ansible Galaxy for IBM tools, yeah, for ZOS tools, and there are also a lot of support from Broadcom for their some of their tools. So there's some pretty interesting stuff going on in the ZOS space. And the beautiful thing is that this is another opportunity for us as the mainframe community to lean into investment that your organizations have probably already made elsewhere. And some of the have you got that script that you had that had the state command, Bill? Because that's one of the things that I like. Bill did it in his demo, but by using that, you can instantly check if something is there or isn't there, and then create it. So it's a really easy tool for, I believe, us, where in the ZOS community, where we normally have to be writing Rex code to check if something exists and then go around it. The Ansible stuff is allowing you to stitch all that together much quicker. So we do have a day of it here at GSE. So if you've got an interest in Ansible, then there are several more sessions today. And as Bill said, he's going to be on at midday UK time. So does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? Because you've got a great opportunity to ask the experts. If not, I strongly recommend that you do give the ZXplore training platform a go. It isn't just for early in career people, in my opinion. It exercises you in Rex and Python. You know, there are some more simple JCL examples, but you breeze through those, and then as you progress, you get tougher and tougher assignments in it. So it's a pretty good platform that introduces you to perhaps some of the non-traditional technologies that are available now on ZOS. So no, Bill, no more questions. Thank you so much. Speak to you later, I will. And I hope to see some of you soon. So enjoy the rest of the GSE for today and tomorrow. And Bill, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later. Cheers. Bye.